Hey, this is Belendiet and you're watching the E-volve show. Today we're gonna be talking about how to be clear about what you want, because sometimes we're like living our day a day and we don't even stop to think like, okay, what is what I want in life? Like, am I living a fulfilled life? Am I getting what I want? Sometimes we confuse success with what the society tells us, like get a job or get married and make money. But then we realize when we get all these things that we're missing something, and it's because we're not really aligned to what we want. Our coach today is Jessica Locke. Jessica Locke is a wellness coach, and she's going to teach us how to thrive instead of survive. Hi, Jessica. How are you?
Hi, Belen. I'm very good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for being here. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. Like I told you before, I'm so honored to be here and excited to be part of this amazing platform and directory you've put together.
Thank you. So, Jessica, why don't we start by telling the audience a little bit about who you are and what you do in your business?
Sure. My name is Jessica Locke. My friends call me Jess, and I'm a holistic wellness coach. I work on mindset, and I also integrate my yoga teachings into helping you connect to your mind and body. I generally help overwhelmed go-getters recalibrate from burnout to find more clarity and align to a life that they love. And I'm also the founder of Whole and Unleashed, where I help the same people through
Mhm.
my programs, one-on-one coaching, and yoga classes and workshops as well.
Awesome. So, and how all of this is started for you? Like, this was something like you have a call all your life, or you're like thought like, well, people might need this, or it was something like you struggled yourself and you start like researching and be like, okay, I love this. People needs to know about this. Like, how was this journey for you?
It was exactly the combination of all the things you said. I think from a kid, I wanted to serve and help when I saw that something wasn't working, but I didn't know what my thing was yet. So I was initially in advertising. I love designing. I wanted to like use communications to change the world. But when I was in that environment, I realized how a lot of people were pushing and burnout over and over again. And that was my story. I Burnout was more normal for me than being healthy. I didn't know what healthy was. And everybody around me had what they were living the same kind of like surviving instead of really thriving, just waking up, going to a job they hate. So that was a disconnect. And I realized, okay, I have to do something about it. And I was getting a lot of insomnia. So my body was telling me, but I wasn't listening. I was like, no, no, no. I think like I'm comfortable here. I'm making good money. I wasn't listening until like the insomnia was so bad that it really forced me to reevaluate, take a step out, take some time off, and just completely pivot my life. I wanted to help, I wanted to serve. That wasn't the way to do it. And I think being in the burnout, that gave me the light bulb moment. Like look at everyone around you, and being through that, now I'm able to help people also go through their burnout and understand the resistance, which is, oh, I love talking about this because we never want to go into the resistance. But
Mhm.
yeah, that's kind of like a fast story of how it all started for me.
Yeah, that's so cool. It's a great story. Like, and sometimes it's like the big, like the main thing, like you have walked through it. So now you want to teach it to others. Like you're now in the other side, so you can tell them all the things that you've done so they don't have to go through all that process. They kind of like go like straight to where they want to go, right?
Exactly, exactly.
So tell us a little bit about the your niche or the people you're serving. You say like they are like go-getters, but they are burnout. Like explain to us a little bit, like just so we know, like, oh yeah, I am like that person. I think I need to talk
Yeah.
with Jessica.
Yo, gosh. I think the people that have gravitated towards me and I found them were people that are perfectionists, go-getters. They've checked all the boxes that society told them to check. They've met their milestones, and then I think somewhere along the way they realize this is not for me, or oh, maybe I need to change career, or maybe get out of a relationship, or just reevaluate. So anybody who's like kind of tiptoeing, they know they should be on
Mhm.
the other side, but they don't know
Yeah.
what's on the other side, and I help you go through that.
Wow, and that's like so cool because I think like it's one of the main things. Like a lot of people, they're like super thrive to do things and do all these things as you say, like you achieve all these things that the society told you to achieve, like study and work and this and have a family. But how many people really go through all of that process and then they wake up and they're like, okay, this is like, is this is it? Like, I don't think it's gonna be like they don't feel fulfilled with their lives that they thought it was success, right? It's like, what is
Yeah.
success for them?
Yeah, yeah. And it's often people that are professional, they've climbed that corporate ladder. And to tell them that, and they feel like I've done all this, I've invested maybe 20 years of my life, and this is not for me. What does that mean? So it's terrifying, but there is another way. And it's just a matter of really just recalibrating, because we've spent so much of our efforts into accomplishing this goal that perhaps was giving us to us. It was from society instead of anchored to what is my center, what is my inner voice. So eventually I help you quiet all the noise, because it's noise, people's
Hmm.
opinions and expectations, and connect to that inner wisdom. What do you want? And that can be a very loaded question as well.
Yeah. And I feel also it's a little bit like a failure feeling that these people that are successful from outside, they don't feel successful inside. So it's like, okay, did I fail? Like, what is this? I'm starting over. Like, I cannot even imagine. Like what you say, you built a whole life, and 20 years later, you're like, okay, what is all of this for?
Yeah, yeah. And it's, I love that you brought this up, because it's also the fear of what is wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've ticked the boxes, we did everything, I got married, whatever that is that you wanted to accomplish, and then you feel like that in the inside. So nothing's wrong with you if you're feeling this way. It's just reconnecting to your inner center.
Yeah, and so important also to have people like you, Jessica, that you do this kind of work. Because, like a lot of like you guys who are watching today, like maybe you feel this way, like maybe you're exhausted, you don't like your job anymore. And it's totally okay to change it. Like if you don't like it, just change it. Find support like Jessica and other coaches that can guide you like in the process because they've been there already, so they can make the process much easier for you.
Yeah, yeah, that was one of the lessons for me. It took me a while to get help or to just reach for additional support, because I thought I can figure it out, I can do all that. And sometimes we get in our own way. Like we're so close to the problem that it helps to have someone hold that space for you to just let it all out, and then we can retarget.
Yeah, and sometimes we're afraid, like, oh, we're not gonna get the results, or it's gonna cost money. And to be honest, like also like you need that person. Like sometimes you pay just for accountability, like somebody who's
Yeah.
gonna be there with you. Because I feel like if I do something by myself, I can be like, oh, I'm not doing it today, or maybe next week. I'll start on Monday. I love that one. That's my thing.
Yeah.
I'll start on Monday. It doesn't matter if I fail on Wednesday, I'll start over on Monday.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Quite positive too.
yeah. So, I feel like it's really important to realize like if you have the support of somebody, you'll move where you want to be faster, and they will give you insights that you probably didn't have. Or like if you even like one thing that I read the other day, it says something like you may read things online and all these things, but you're getting information from all other like different places. So if you don't go with one person, you don't have that roadmap that that person gives you because you're just getting different information. So it's gonna take you forever.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've been there like scattered, trying to piece all the little informations, all the free. And I think maybe at the beginning, if it feels right to do it, you should honor that. but
Mm.
recognize when you're getting stuck. And then that's like, do you want to stay there, or you want to, like you said, have someone to hold you accountable? Because I brought so many courses where I'm like, I'm on a roll. And for the first week, maybe I did up to like 70% of it. And then afterwards, like, I'm done.
Yeah, or start another thing so you never complete what you start.
Yeah, because along the way, as we learn about the things, because nothing that anybody is teaching is like completely new to the world. I think we have, it's just a matter of integrating in a way that works for you, and keep integrating, because you're going to get your resistance throughout the way. And it's just part of growth. You're always going to get stuck, but how are you integrating what you've learned to move through that? So, yeah, that's
Totally.
super helpful too.
Yeah. So what are some things that you see with your clients that like they get stuck, or like what are some things that they get to a point where they start like contacting you, or they're like, okay, I'll try this by myself. Like, how can you support me with this? Because I think like one of your main things is like getting clarity on what you want. And I think that's so important. Like if you want to tell us a little bit like why is that so important?
Sure. Thank you for asking that. A lot of the people who've reached out to me are people who burn out. And I think it's also a deeper understanding and compassion for that, because so often when we burn out, we think it's because we've been working a lot, but there's so many layers underneath. And one of my mentors and my coaches, Melissa Griffin, was sharing how when you burn out, it isn't because you're working a lot. It's also because you're working towards a direction that's not aligned to you. Because when I love something, I can work for hours and I feel more energized after
You're
it.
excited about it.
Yeah. And to see that, okay, it's not just a matter of working a lot, but it's doing the things that are not aligned to me. I help them find the clarity of what's important. And getting to the core of that, there's so many other expectations layer on top. This is like, layers on layers. Like, do I really want the money? I think the money will make me happy, but is it really? If you look deep down, is that what you value? What is your core value? What are your core fears that are triggering you? So, those are kind of like the labyrinth that we kind of navigate together. Um, I can share some like actionable tips on recalibrating for burnout,
Mhm.
I think. Um, and these are really simple to start with. The first one is taking a step back. That's the hardest one, because when you're in it, you want to solve the problem right away, right? Especially as a go-getter, or someone who acts on things, you want to fix it, but you can't, because your body is just like, let me rest. And
Yeah.
it's a lot of times it's understanding that it's okay to not be doing anything, and
Mhm.
looking into our productivity beliefs and what we've attached to it. Let yourself rest. Take a step
Yeah.
back. Give yourself a week if it helps to have like a contained time frame. If you want to Netflix, do that.
Just do
If you
it.
want to go for a walk, do it. Just listen to yourself and be very compassionate. That's the first step. The
Mhm.
second one is connect to your whole body. I spend so much of my time thinking of a way of, thinking of a solution, thinking of my dreams and goals. And my body was like, excuse me, have you moved today? You're all hunched over on the computer. Maybe you should go for a walk.
Oh my God, that's so real.
Yeah, right. And especially because we can do everything on our laptops, technology is amazing. It's hard to like disconnect from that.
Hmm.
So, yeah, connect to your whole body, notice how your body is feeling, doing a really quick scan. And what is your body craving for? Does it want something energizing? Does it want something soothing? Do you want like a Zumba session or boxing? Or, notice that and start honoring it. Very tiny steps. You don't have to schedule like an hour into your workout right away, because then that gets overwhelming when the things that are supposed to support us become task.
Yeah, another task.
Yeah, another task, like an hour meditation, an hour journaling, and then at the end of the day, it's like I feel so confused.
Yeah.
Um, the third one is to make space for your feelings. And that can also be very uncomfortable. I think that comes from experience, because I've always been cup half full kind of perspective, that when something wasn't comfortable or happy, I push it down, and I didn't know how to hold space for it. So learning how to hold space, you can journal, you can talk to someone, and just hold that emotion without judgment. I think it's so important to not say, hey, I'm feeling angry, that's bad, because it's
Mm-hmm.
not. The
Yeah.
feelings are just data, they're just telling you what's happening to you.
Mm-hmm.
Holding space for it, you can reach out to someone, coach, psychiatrist, friend, just hold space for that. It's so crucial. And then grounding tools. That's it's so important because we get lost in the day to day. So making a list of what grounds you, what helps you feel alive and connected to your center. Maybe you can do it after a meeting, at the beginning of the day, in the middle of the day, and start incorporating those little moments that you can feel just you again. Because
Mm-hmm.
we, yeah.
So things that
So,
makes you feel alive, when you mean like grounded, like that means like something that it makes you feel good about your day or about yourself, something like that.
yeah, something like that. And something that also helps you process. So let's
Mhm.
say you had like a very when something happy happens to us, we process it so easily. We talk to our
We're
friends,
so
we
good at
celebrate.
that.
Yeah, we're good at celebrating. Bring out the wine, let's go party, Zoom party right now. But then the
Totally.
things that are stressful, that's harder to process, but we need to process it. So that kind of also attaches I think it was the second one about bringing your body along for the ride. So how can you ground and process? That could be, again, dancing, journaling, going for a bike ride,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe walking away from it, just giving yourself space. So that's what I see as grounding.
Nice. Those are
Yeah.
beautiful like steps to have, like just to make sure like we connect with, I mean, I'll say like to spend time looking at what we want or what is important for us, right? Because I feel like, for the people who is in the industry, it's kind of like easy to talk about these things, or like, oh, I've been journaling, or I've been like thinking about my goals. But there is so many people, we are still like, there is so many people of us that we don't spend like 5 minutes today saying like, okay, what do I want in this month to happen? I'm not saying like just like your 10 years plan, your 5 years plan. It's like, okay, this month, what I would like to accomplish. And then is what you say, like, then you don't get overwhelmed, because I have like 3 lists of things that I have
Yeah.
to get done. But if you have like an overall like mission, for that month, I guess is like you get more focused, more clear. And I think that's kind of like your message with your business.
Yeah, yeah. And you get to check in yourself and adapt because I think alignment changes with you as you grow. Maybe you were exactly meant for that job that you stayed
Mhm.
at for 10, 20 years, and it's time to pivot. And just having the awareness that this is not for me anymore, it's so powerful instead of, surviving and just doing and doing and doing.
Yeah. And sometimes we get into that routine that we wake up every day and do the same thing, and wake up and do the same thing. And then time pass and you're like, okay, what am I working towards? Like, is it money? What you were saying, like, is it money? Is this like fulfillment? Is like, I want to travel? What is what you want? Like, sometimes we just don't ask that to ourselves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, Jessica, why don't you tell us? I think you have a freebie for all of us that I'm super excited. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Sure, of course. Thank you for mentioning it. It's a guide, a starter guide called How to Go from Frazzled to Focus. And it's very similar to the steps that I shared here, which is basically about understanding why you're at where you're at without any judgment and how you can start pivoting and recalibrating. And I take you through different steps as well. And there's also like a page you can print, like a journal, to integrate everything that you learn. Because sometimes, I don't know if you're like me, I learn everything. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. And then because I'm doing so many things at once, I'm like, oh, I completely forgot about it.
Totally.
So you can also track how you're feeling and if those tools are working for you. Because at the end of the day, what works for one person doesn't work for you. You're so unique and different. So adapt it to your own circumstances.
Yeah, that's perfect. I'm excited for it. I'll get it too. So I can start like doing all the, what you say, implementing what we've been learning today.
Yeah.
So Jessica, how people can connect with you? What's the best way for people to contact you?
You can find me on Instagram at Jeslock, Jes period Lock.
Mhm.
Also my website, wholeandunleashed.com. I'm also offering expansion sessions, a few a month for free, 90 minutes. If you have anything you're stuck with, we can just talk about it and just, you're going to get coaching, connection from me, no sales call. I just want to help you get through anything you're stuck with.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, so for all of you guys, like we invite you to connect with Jessica and get that 90 minutes coach so you can like get clear of what you want. So Jessica, thank you so much for being here today. It was a total pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me, Belen.